Hi, Justin Thomas here with Turn Left Motorsports. We're here with another technical video to make a sway bar load cell stick bar load. I don't know what the proper name is. Right here is a screenshot of one that you can buy online. But with me racing this late model, I'm on a tight budget, and being on a tight budget means I gotta try to make everything I can. So that's what we're doing today. We're gonna build one, and we're gonna make it as cheap as possible, but still functional. One of the crucial measurements to take on a late model is the load of the sway bar. What that means.
You can see right there that the sway bar is attached to the lower control arm on the right side. And that knuckle right there with tape on it, that is the adjuster to either add more load or take load out of the bar. Jump to the other side here. This is a slapper sway bar. So the sway bar arm right there is pushing on the bottom of the driver's side control arm. When the car is in dive and up in the air like it is right now, the load that the sway bar is putting on that control arm. And the way we measure that is we put a load cell between that control arm and the upper shock mount where a shock would normally be. And we can, with that load cell, measure how much load it has.
Here's the load cell. It looks identical to all the ones that come on the expensive ones that you can buy. This is your interface. This is a M12 by 175 right-hand thread Heim. That will thread into this guy. Another M12 bolt that will thread into here. And then this will be your lower Heim that goes into the control arm. That Heim will go into the shock mount. So we have everything here except for the bar that goes from here to here. I'm going to take a piece of tubing with a thick wall. We're going to weld this nut on one end, weld this bolt on the other end. We'll have about an inch or so of adjustment, and that should do the trick. This is my dive bar, or dive stick. This is currently set up at the length of my shock when the car is in dive. So this is the measurement I need this whole thing to be, the overall measurement. Alright, so I know that's not precision, but you got to keep in mind, we're going to have plenty of adjustment here. I only really need to get within a 1/4 inch, and I can tell you I'm going to be better than a 1/4 inch right there with doing this, but I have plenty of adjustment here, and I got plenty of adjustment on that Heim right there. Alright, everything's set the way it's going to be. We're measuring from the top of that bolt to the bottom of that nut. Measuring from there to there. And I'm going to have a hair over at 8 inches.
As always, wear those safety glasses. Now here, since I used a cutoff wheel, I'm just squaring up the end, or facing it, whatever you want to call it, my lathe, making sure it's nice and square. And then we're going to assemble the bolt, the nut, and that piece of steel I just cut out with this clamp to hold it all together, and then we're going to go weld it.
Something like that. So now we're just doing a quick dry fit, and everything looks good. We'll paint this piece so it don't rust. Alright, so we just gotta paint it and get a lock nut there and test it. Biggest pro tip here is paint it while it's hot. Paint will dry quicker and better, especially when it's cold. Alright, so we got it assembled. So we have it assembled, but there's a small issue. This is 12 millimeter, which is a tiny bit smaller than a 1/2 inch. So my 1/2 inch bolt will not fit.
Doing a really important test here. Just we're screwing around with it. Giving us some numbers. Notice that this is all in kilograms. Now us Americans are unfamiliar with kilograms, but luckily on the interweb there's a simple formula that helps us convert it from kilograms to American pounds. So we got the bolt and the spacer through the lower control arm done. We just zeroed out the load cell. And now we are putting the top bolt through the shock mount. I'm pushing down the wheel there with my foot, and that's that bolt we just turned in the lathe. And you can see we're currently reading 68 kilograms, which I believe is equal to about 150 American pounds. Now we're going to run around to the other side of the car where the sway bar adjuster is. And I forgot to have a camera on that, but we're going to take a little bit of bar out. We're backing out that bolt, which you can see the numbers are dropping down to 53 kilograms. That was a half turn out. Now we're going to put it back to where it just was at 68 kilograms.
Back to stock.
And then we're going to put another half turn in it.
Quarter turn. That's a half. Quarter turn.
So 84 kilograms with a half turn in. And then now we're going back to that 68 kilogram number that we were at before.
Yep, and that's back.
So the whole goal of this was to save some money. Well, did we? Buying one of these new from Weir's or their competitors are usually around $500. I have about $148 into this whole build, not including my labor, just my material cost. And here's the breakdown. Let's do a quick cons on this, because if we're saving money, there's probably some kind of issues. What are the issues with this build? Well, it's in kilograms, so I have to sit there and convert it, or just know my load bar numbers in kilograms. That's not the biggest deal in the world. And the other big con we had was that top bolt, not the half-inch bolt not fitting through it, and I had to turn that special bolt, so I have to keep that bolt with this load bar. Beyond that, I would say that was worth saving $350. Thank you so much for watching, people. I appreciate your time. Make sure to like if you did enjoy it. Comment down below, whether positive or negative, I don't care. Throw a comment down there. And if you like this kind of stuff, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you.